Hi, and welcome back to another session for Fitness Presence. And today we're gonna, again, always do comprehensive integrated workout. We're gonna work on everything. Today the focus is gonna be on coordination. And so it's a very cognitive workout. It's the idea of moving in such a way that we're aware how our different limbs are playing together, how our breathing is playing together. And it's one of the focuses that really expands our cognitive capabilities as well as our physical ones. So what I want you to do, and what we're going to be doing today, is to work through our entire body, but we're going to start off in a very similar looking fashion, but I want you to really pay attention, and I'm going to pay attention myself, to coordinating our movements. So we've been working a little bit on balance, so you may want to step up into the tiptoes or settle down into your heels, whatever feels better. Heels, you often get a little bit greater range of movement because you have a larger surface area to balance upon. Or on the tiptoes, it just makes it automatically a little more challenging. So let's start up here, however you feel great. We're gonna press in, and I want you to think about pressing your hands together and pushing your fingertips, your knuckles, and the base of your hand together. And now we're gonna drop down, and what we're gonna coordinate here is that the movement of the arms is gonna walk through that entire range of movement so that by the time we're down at the bottom of our squat, our hands are at the bottom as well. And so we're going to coordinate the speed of movement. So you have to pay attention to how quickly you're moving with your legs and how quickly you're moving with your arms. The breath work, again, because we move quite slowly through most of our fitness presence workout, you just want to pay attention. I like to be exhaled completely at the bottom, but I'll take a couple of breaths, usually 3, and in, out, and in as we come to the top. And then again, think about coming down, so you're exhaling, maybe inhaling and exhaling as you curl all the way underneath. Now right through here, you're dropped in and breathe and come all the way to the top, reaching high, stretching high, and breathing. Good. Let's coordinate one more of those so that we're dropping in, breathing, a range of movement, dropping deep, and coming through. Let's come back up, and we're going to go side to side now. So we worked a little bit on that sagittal plane. So we're going to go frontal plane. And I want you to focus on gripping above your head, clasping your hands together. And as we drop in, we're going to drop to one side, and at the same time we're pulling away. So we're pressing into our legs to get a nice stretch of the adductor, and we're elongating the spine, driving the elbow nice and high, and coming back across and breathing. Nice work, breathing. And again, coordinate so that at the top right here, we're in the middle. And then as we press down, we're elongating the spine and laying it down as far as we can, dropping down and in, and then we're going to come across again. And the breath is moving smoothly. So right here, we're at the top. Now we're going to press in all the way over. Good. And coordinate those movements so that as you pull across, you got a lot of resistance there, so you're pulling. You're concentrating on pressing into the leg, elongating your spine so that you're arching, not bending, and coming again one more time, and then we'll go into a transverse movement. As we get into the transverse movement, and we're staying isokinetic, right? We're pressing one arm into the other. I want you to think about rotating your feet so that as you move through this range of movement, you're coordinating and your hips are rotating and you're dropping into a nice lunge that's going to peak when you get to full rotation. And then you're going to come back the opposite direction. And as you get your body squared up, you're all squared up, legs, hips, everything. Coming around and moving through. All the way through that rotation. And keep going. Good. And come back again. And breathe. Keep moving all the way through. Press and breathe. Nice deep rotation. Good. And now coordinate that movement again. So you're pressing into your leg, Think about rotating your feet, and now you're squared up. You're gonna rotate your feet again, and then come in for a nice lunge. And as you get as deep as possible, you're gonna press your arms all the way through so that you have a good torso rotation. We'll come back and do that one more time, and then we'll go through those planes using antagonist instead of isokinetic resistance. All the way through, breathing, dropping, all the way through, and keep coming. Keep that pressure in the hands all the way across, coordinating that movement. You're doing great. All the way through, breathe, drop in, good. Now let's come front to that sagittal plane again. What I want you to do here, we're gonna go a little bit fuller range of movement. We're gonna release our hands. So come above, and then as we come through, it's gonna be a movement where you drop all the way in, get a nice deep squat, breathing through here, and then pressing up. And as you drive your heels into the ground and elongate, stretch those hamstrings, you're reaching to the sky with your hands. And then we're gonna coordinate again, so that as you're dropped in, you're here, and as we lift, by the time you get all the way to the top with your legs, you also want to be all the way to the top with your arms. So this is causing us to pay real attention to the speed of movement that we're going through that, pulling down with our lats, contracting and resisting with our deltoids, curling our abdominal muscles underneath, driving into the ground, and pressing and lifting. Curl your abdominal muscles up at the top, and then drop it back down again, all the way through. Nice deep squat, and breathe. As you lift to the sky, make sure that you're moving your arms at the same pace so that when you get to the top with your legs, you're all the way up with your arms. Let's go one more time here. We're gonna come back down, breathe, drop deep. And again, when I'm deep in here, reaching straight forward. And then as you come in and press into the ground, you're gonna drive your heels down, slowly extending your legs, and so that the time they're fully extended and you have that full hamstring stretch, you're also reaching up and stretching your arms, curling your abdominal muscles, dropping back in again, breathing, and let's slowly press and lift all the way to the top and make sure we're doing good work there. Awesome. So let's go on the frontal plane, and again, we're gonna do this with antagonist resistance. So the arms will be apart, and as we were leaning away, this time let's lean toward the bent knee. So as you come through antagonistically, right, you're pulling and you're resisting that movement, dropping in. Make sure that by the time you fully dropped into your side lunge, your arms are where you want them to be, fully rotated, and your torso is laid down as you'd like it to be. So you're pressing and timing and stretching, good. Come across. Now think about pulling that antagonist resistance. You're pulling in that big circle. You're gonna come all the way around, reach and stretch, all the way over and stretch it out, and then come back up again to the top and breathe, press into the legs and reach across the body and stretch. Let's go a little further this time. Let's bend the arms, open them up so you're extending the biceps and the triceps so you're straight here. Now you're gonna pull through, rotate that shoulder, but you're also flexing at the elbow joint and resisting with the tricep. Come on all the way up and breathe. So think of all the movements we're coordinating right now. You're laying your torso sideways, you're rotating at the shoulder joint, you're flexing at the elbow joint, you're bending that knee joint, and all of it is timed perfectly. And so again, what that forces your brain to do is to pay attention to all those different movements, and it builds new neural pathways that are so important as we age. So let's go on the transverse plane. So I want you to reach and stretch your torso. Now extend the arms, extend the triceps, biceps and triceps, so you're extending the arm. And when you come all the way through, by the time you finish that rotation, your arms are all the way wrapped around your body. And then from here, you're gonna extend out. So you're pressing out, triceps resisting with the biceps, and you're gonna come all the way across and breathe as you move through this range of movement. You're straight up here. Right now, we're gonna flex the elbows, pulling through across the body, rotating, coming in a nice lunge, and everything's gonna time perfectly. And again, pressing back out again, and breathing all the way around the movement. Good, straight up. Now try to keep your shoulders nice and high. Your elbows are high as you rotate through. Now as you come around the back, you're gonna notice you have to drop that shoulder, drop the body in, and come around and breathe. I want you to think about this. You're pressing into that front leg. You're pressing against the back leg, so there's a little wrestling match. Your arms, your biceps and triceps are in a battle to reach to full extension, which you're going to reach when you're rotated fully straight forward. And then here, you're going to begin to drop in. You're pressing one leg into the other. You're pulling your body around, and you're starting that bicep flexion resisted by the tricep on both sides, all the way through, and come back out again. So what you'll notice, of course, as we say, this is an integrated workout. So while we're focusing on coordination, we're obviously working on flexibility, balance, strength, cardiovascular, but this is really a mental challenge to come around, because again, one of the most important things that we're going to work on as we age is making sure that we stay cognitively sharp all the way around. And again, pull through, reaching. Awesome. So now we're going to drop to the ground, and we're going to do a sagittal plane. You'll be watching it from the side. And so we're going to press in. So what I want you to do here is, as you extend your legs, you're going to be moving through that range of movement and then extending all the way to the top. When you're here, think about pulling with your abdominal muscles. So you're going to press your hands into the ground, pull up with your abdominal muscles. You're pressing down with your legs, driving yourself nice and high, and reaching all the way back. Get back into the downward dog. Bend your knees as you bend your elbows, and now press forward. And as your legs are extending, you're going to go all the way over that range of movement for your arms and press up. Let's finish this one up and do one more. Press. Really feel your abdominal muscles curling up, pressing into your hands, pressing into your toes, pulling through, back into downward. Press back and get a good stretch. Drop down. Let's press forward and breathe. And really think about the timing of this, right? So you're extending your legs and getting to the place where you have to press out. You can't take your arms any further. Now pull with your abdominal muscles. As you press in, you're pressing down with your hands, down with your legs, and curling up with your abdominal muscles. And we're coming across. So let's go side to side. And we're going to coordinate this movement. So as you press into the ground, drop deep, side to side, and now press. And you're pressing one hand into the other, into the ground strong. You're dropping, nice deep extension of the adduction, coming across and breathing. Let's drop a shoulder down and then lift it up. Pull up with your abdominal muscles and then drop back down again as you come across, and up and again. Good, all the way through. Nice. Let's do a little bit to just bring our heart rates back down. Let's coordinate this movement. Okay, so we're just taking out a little bit of resistance. Nice and slow, pull to the top, all the way up to the top, and breathing. Reach high, reach down your back, and then as we come through the other way, we're going to reach all the way around and do a full extension or rotation of the shoulder joint and bring those arms up behind us. Let's coordinate again. So we're coming up. I want you, by the time your legs are fully extended, to have your arms all the way up and tucked a bit down your back, getting a good stretch. Let's come one more. Dropping the heart rate. Coming on in. Rotate, stay facing forward, pull those arms up your back. and then nice and slowly coordinating so that by the time we get to the top, we've come all the way through. We're driving our hands down the back. Awesome. And so again, that was about 1% of your day, about 15 minutes. We coordinated, worked on all aspects. But what I want you to do is incorporate into your program that level of consciousness of coordinating the movements. Thanks very much. We'll see you again tomorrow. What we're going to do in the next workout is bring all the things together where we spend about 3 minutes thinking about each of the different elements that we're working on.